There are two trends you need to know for work and life today. The first one is known as the Information Exchange Rate, or the IER. The IER is defined as how long it takes for information to travel from point A to point B around the globe. Now we have to go back in time to understand the IER today, so let's go back all the way to the 1400s. The year the printing press was created in 1441, it would take about years for information to go from point A to point B around the globe. And then 400 years later, the telegraph came along, which increased the information exchange rate. In other words, information traveled faster from point A to point B around the world. So instead of years, maybe now it took months. And then a few years later, the telephone was invented, and then information exchanged happened even faster, and then it went down to weeks. And then once the radio was invented, information exchange went down to days. And then we had the television, and then the information exchange rate went down to hours. And then after the television, we had the first generation computers and the first generation cell phones. So minutes could go by and information could be exchanged from one point of the globe to the others. Granted, you needed access to these pieces of technology, but nevertheless they were available. And then we had the first generation dial-up modems, which increased the information exchange rate to seconds. And then in today's latest technology, using smartphones and high-speed wireless internet connections, the information exchange rate, the amount of information it takes from information to go from point A to point B around the globe, happens in real time. So in less than 600 years, we went from years to months to weeks to days to hours to minutes to seconds to today, where one can literally film an event and upload it instantaneously to the internet, and someone around the world could see it in real time as it's happening. But that's just one trend. There's another trend that we all must be aware of, and that is the KPR, or knowledge production rate, which is simply how much information is being produced. And again, let's go back 600 years. We had a little bit of information produced thanks to the printing press. And then with each subsequent century and decade, as the inventions came about, we have more and more information being produced. So much so that today we have more information being produced on a daily basis than we can possibly imagine, thanks to high-speed internet access and the introduction of the latest generation of smartphones. So now we place the IER, or the information exchange rate, next to the KPR, or the knowledge production rate, and we see two diametrically opposed trends. The information exchange rate has gone down from years to real time, and the amount of knowledge being produced has gone from very little to quite a lot. And in fact, in August 2010, former CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, said that every 2 days, humans around the globe create as much information as all of humans did from the beginning of time up until 2003. So that's every 2 days. We create as much information as we did from the beginning of recorded civilization up until 2003. This is an unbelievably significant amount of information. But let's compound that by one more statistic, and that is the number of people around the globe. As this video is being produced, there are just under 7 billion people around the world. 2 billion of those, according to InternetWorldStats.com, have access to the Internet, and about 4 billion have access to a cell phone. So not only is the information exchange rate gone down to real time, and the KPR, knowledge production rate, gone up exponentially, but now we have 2 billion people involved in the real-time exchange of more and more information. So what does all that mean? It means that we need to think differently about the way we work and live. And if you're interested in this, take a look at Alvin and Heidi Toffler's Revolutionary Wealth. We also need to increase our ability to remain open-minded. And I call your attention to Tapscott and Williams' book, Wikinomics, How Mass Collaboration Changes Everything. We also need to rely less on best practices and more on creative thinking. On this, take a look at A Whole New Mind by Daniel Pink. We need to seek a higher level of self-awareness regarding work, how we work, where we work, what we do for work. And there you should take a look at Fried's book called Rework. We need to consider new approaches to solving problems. Take a look at Paul Arden's Whatever You Think the Opposite. And we also need to think about achieving new levels of collaboration. So take a look at Crowdsourcing by Jeff Howe. Now, it's all a bit confusing because there's so many places to start. How does one begin to do any of these things? Well, perhaps the best thing to do is to start traveling down your path. And in our terminology, a path means your personal assessment of traits and habits. Understand yourself better as you seek to achieve success in today's ever-changing and dynamic global economy. For more information on PATH, please visit our website, www.meapa.com.